Hello, good morning. Hi, Nody. My puppy's coming up to say hello. Hi, Nodes. Hi. Noda, come here. Come here. Come here. Noda, come here. Come here. Come up. Come here. Come say hi to everybody. Come here. Come here. Up, 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 up. Up, 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 up. Say hi. Look. Say hi, Noda. Say hi. Oh, you're a good girl. Say hi. Say, look at me. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, thank you. Okay. So many kisses. Oh, thank you. Okay. All right, let's get down now. Let's be careful. Get down. You guys all see my puppy? Apparently she wanted to give a lot of kisses this morning. All right, so let's do a quick review of last week. So we learned that his dad, Lee's dad and mom are divorced. We learned that he hasn't seen his dad, that he really misses his dad. We learned that he's now helping with flag patrol because he gets to school early in the morning. And we learned that Mr. Henshaw said maybe he should get a composition notebook, like a diary to write. And so he said that he did end up getting a diary, and it said, Diary of Lee Marcus Botts, private, keep out. This means you. All right, so we were in the second part where it says, Private Diary of Lee Botts. Friday, December 22nd. Oh, before we move on, he says, he said that he's going to pretend right to his dad because he never answered. He said he'll pretend right to Mr. Henshaw because he got in the habit of writing Dear Mr. Henshaw every time he wrote. All right. Private Diary of Lee Botts, Friday, December 22nd. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, this is a diary. I will keep it, not mail it. If I eat my lunch on the way to school, I get hungry in the afternoon. Today I didn't, so the 2 stuffed mushrooms Mom packed in my lunch were gone at lunch period. My sandwich was still there, so I didn't starve to death, but I sure miss those mushrooms. I can't complain to the teacher because it isn't a good idea for a new boy in school to be a snitch. All morning, I try to keep track of who leaves his seat to go behind the partition where we keep our lunches. And I watch to see who leaves the room last at recess. I haven't caught anybody chewing, but Miss Martinez is always telling me to face the front of the room. Anyway, the classroom door is usually open. Anybody could sneak in if we were all facing front and Miss Martinez was writing on the blackboard. Hey, I just had an idea. Some authors write under make-up names. After Christmas vacation, I'll write a fictitious name on my lunch bag that will foil the thief, as they say in books. I guess I don't have to sign my name to a diary letter the way I sign a real letter that I would actually mail. Saturday, December 23rd. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, this is the first day of Christmas vacation. Still no package from Dad. I thought maybe he was bringing me a present instead of mailing it. So I asked Mom if she thought he might come to see us for Christmas. She said, we're divorced, remember? I remember all right. I remember all the time. Sunday, December 24th. So this is Christmas Eve. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, still no package from Dad. I keep thinking about last Christmas when we were in the mobile home before Dad bought the tractor. He had to dodge the highway patrol to get home in time for Christmas. Mom cooked a turkey and a nice dinner. We had a Christmas tree about 2 feet high because there wasn't room for a big one. At dinner, Dad remarked that when he was driving along, he often saw one shoe lying on the highway. He always wondered how it got there and what happened to its mate. Mom said one shoe sounded sad, like a country western song. While we ate our mince pie, we all tried to think about songs about lost shoes. I'll never forget them. Mine was the worst. Driving with a heavy load, I saw a shoe upon the road, swashed like a toad. Dad came up with, I saw a shoe wet with dew on Highway 2. It made me blue. What I'll do. Mom's song really made us laugh. It was the best. A lonesome hiker was unlucky to lose his boot near Truckee. He hitched a ride with 1 foot damp down the road to Angel's Camp. Dumb songs, but we had fun. Mom and Dad hadn't laughed that much for a long time, and I hoped they'd never stop. After that, whenever Dad came home, I asked if he had seen any shoes on the highway. He always had. Monday, December 25th. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, last night I was feeling low and was still awake after the gas station stopped pinging. Then I heard heavy feet coming up the steps, and for a minute I thought it was Dad, until I remembered he always ran up the steps. Mom is careful about opening the door at night. I heard her turn on the outside light and knew she was peeking out from behind the curtain. She opened the door, and a man said, "Is this where Lee Botts lives?" I was out of bed and into the front room in a second. "I'm Lee Botts," I said. "Your dad asked me to drop this off for you." A man who looked like a trucker handed me a big package. "Thanks," I said. "Thanks a whole lot." I must have had a puzzled look on my face because he said he sent out a call over his CB radio for someone coming to Pacific Grove who would like to play Santa. So here I am. Merry Christmas, a ho, ho, ho. He waved and was off down the walk before I could say anything more. "Wow," I said to Mom, "wow." She just stood there in her robe smiling while I began to tear off the paper, even if it wasn't Christmas morning. Dad had sent what I always wanted, a quilted down jacket with lots of pockets and a hood that zips up into the collar. I tried it on over my pajamas. It was the right size and felt great. Getting a present from my dad in time for Christmas felt even better. Today, Katie invited us for Christmas dinner, even though this has been a busy season for catering. She also had some of the other women who work with her and their kids and a few old people from her neighborhood. On the way home, Mom said, "Katie has a heart as big as a football stadium. It was a lovely dinner for lonely hearts." Lovely dinner for lonely hearts. I wondered if she was thinking about last Christmas when we tried to make up songs about lonely lost shoes. Wednesday, January 3rd. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, I got behind in my diary during Christmas vacation because I had a lot of things to do, such as go to the dentist for a checkup, get some new shoes, and do a lot of things that don't get done during school. Today I wrote a fictitious name, as they sometimes say, on my lunch bag. I printed Joe Kelly on it because that was the name of the boy in Ways to Amuse a Dog, so I knew it was fictitious. I guess I fooled the thief because nobody stole the water chestnuts and chicken livers wrapped in bacon that Katie broiled just for me. They are good even when they're cold. I hope the thief drooled when he watched me eat them. Monday, January 8th. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, Dad phoned me from Oregon. I looked up in my book at the road maps and saw where it is. It's up there by the Columbia River. He said he was waiting for a load of potatoes. I could hear a jukebox and a bunch of men talking. I asked about Bandit, and he said Bandit was fine, a great listener on a long haul, and even though he doesn't have much to say. I asked Dad if I could ride with him sometime next summer when school is out, and he said he'd see. I hate answers like that. Anyway, he said he was sending the support check, and he was sorry he forgot, and he hoped I liked the jacket. I sure wish Dad lived with us again, but he said he would phone in about a week and to keep my nose clean. He had to go make sure the potatoes were loaded so they wouldn't shift going around the curves. This has been a good day, and my lunch was safe again. Mr. Fridley's so funny. Lots of kids are having their teeth straightened, so when they eat at lunch, they take out the retainers and wrap them in paper napkins while they eat because nobody wants to look at a spitty retainer. Sometimes they forget and throw the napkin with the retainer into the garbage. Then they have to hunt through the cans of gooey garbage until they find their retainers because retainers cost a lot of money, and parents get really mad if they get lost. Mr. Fridley always stands by the garbage cans to make sure kids who buy school lunches put their forks and spoons on a tray and not in the garbage. Whenever somebody who wears a retainer scrapes his plate, Mr. Fridley says, "Look out, don't lose your false teeth." This has to cut down on some of the lost retainers. Mom says I take after Dad in one thing. My teeth are nice and straight, which is a big savings right there. Tuesday, January 9th. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, my little cheesecake was missing at lunchtime, which made me mad. I guess somebody noticed Joe Kelly's lunch was really mine. When I went to throw my lunch bag in the garbage, Mr. Fridley said, "Cheer up, Lee, or you'll trip over your lower lip." I said, "How would you feel if somebody was always stealing the good stuff from your lunch?" He said, "What you need is a burglar alarm." A burglar alarm on a lunch bag? I had to laugh at that, but I still wanted my cheesecake. Dad should be phoning any day now. When I said that at supper, chili out of a can, Mom said for me not to get my hopes up, but I know Dad will remember this time. Mom never really says much about Dad, and when I ask why she divorced him, all she says is, it takes 2 people to get a divorce. I guess she means it the same way as it takes 2 people to have a fight. Tomorrow I am going to wrap my lunch bag in a lot of Scotch tape so nobody can sneak anything out of it. Wednesday, January 10th. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, it's funny how somebody says something and you can't forget it. I keep thinking about Mr. Fridley saying I needed a burglar alarm on my lunch bag. How could anyone put a burglar alarm on a paper bag? Today, I used so much Scotch tape on my lunch bag, I had a hard time getting my lunch out. Everybody laughed. Dad should phone today or tomorrow. Maybe if he came home, he would know how I could make a burglar alarm for my lunch bag. He used to be good at helping me build things, except there wasn't much room in the mobile home we lived in, and you had to be careful where you pounded because a piece of plastic might break off something. I read over the letter you wrote that time about answering my questions and thought about your tips on how to write a good book. One of the tips was listen. I guess you meant to listen and write down the way people talk, sort of like a play. This is what Mom and I said at supper, which were frozen chicken pies. Me. Mom, how come you don't get married again? Mom. Oh, I don't know. I guess men aren't that easy to find when you're out of school. Me. But you go out sometimes. You went to dinner with Charlie a couple of times. What happened to him? Mom. A couple of times was enough. That's the end of Charlie. Me. How come? Mom. Well, Charlie is divorced and has 3 children to support. What he really wants is someone to help support Charlie. Me. Oh, 3 sudden brothers or sisters was something to think about. But I see men all around. There are lots of men. Mom. But not the marrying kind. I guess I'm really afraid I might find another man who's in love with a truck. Me. Well, I think about this and I don't answer. Dad in love with a truck? What does that even mean? So this is what he's thinking. Mom. Why are you asking all these questions all of a sudden? Me. Well, I was thinking if I had a father at home, maybe he could show me how to make a burglar alarm for my lunch bag. Mom. There must be an easier way than by me getting married again. End of conversation. All right, so we're going to stop there. When we come back, we will be January 12th, Dear Mr. Henshaw. So this time he's going to write a real letter. Remember, the ones he was just writing before were just in his diary. All right. I will see you on Zoom in just a couple minutes. Please check your Canvas inbox. Bye, guys.